It's the bus stop, swerving into what's hot. Coming live, Shady Sports, yeah, we got it on live. Sports and music, yeah, let's get into it. Do it like no other, do it. Blueprint for consuming the team that's never losing. Coming live from Colorado, like Chet and follow. Shady Sports, the motto, fresher than avocado. Play by play and ball for ball, we coming to you from afar. Day to day and call for call, we talk about it all.
Yeah, it's the bus stop, talking sports and hip hop. Jump on the bandwagon, cause we talking what's hot. 8303, Denver, what's happening? We got sports action, come take a ride with us if you DJ and a rapping. No capping, stand LinkedIn, bringing sports and rap news, stats news, and talking Denver Zuzu. And we ain't hard to find, we on Shady Sports Network like all the time. Gemini and Static got the ball, it's time to grind. It's the show you won't wanna miss, not one line. And ain't there not a show bringing what we bringing. So go ahead and tune in, man, we just hanging at the bus stop.
Shady Sports, 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 Shady Sports.
Yes, it is not the bus stop, but it is the bus stop. We still talking sports tonight, guys. What is going on? It's Tuesday night, so you know what it is. We hanging out on the bandwagon, and we got a special one tonight. We got Hoop Philosophy, hosted by Reem and the homies. So I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna turn it over to you, Reem, so you can let them know what the show is, and then you guys get right into it.
Let's get it. Let's get it. First and foremost, we appreciate you having us on, allowing us to do this. This is just one of the many stops on the bus stop here. You know, the bus is going, and right now we're going to stop in the basketball world. And today we're going to take a deep dive into hoops. Usually on the bus stop, for people who are following along with us, usually we go through, you know, many different sports topics. But today the bus is stalled at the basketball location, and we're going to take a deeper dive into what's going on in the league, some recent games here. We're going to take a dive into some player archetypes even, and we're going to take a dive on the team. So, you know, and of course, all the things that come in between as well. But without further ado, we're going to go ahead and get started. I'm Ring. We got Kilo and Ra with us, and of course the bus driver Cedric. And we're going to get started. Man, that OKC versus Spurs game. Now, before we even dive into this, here's what I want to start with. Okay, now for people who are following, last Saturday I stated the OKC were not like that. Do not let their record deceive you. Don't let their record fool you. They have been playing a lot of teams that are not as competitive as other teams, a lot of teams that have been injured, right? And of course, poetic justice, and the injured Spurs team had Wemby come back, right? And the very first game he came back. Now, it wasn't, you know, over the knee, you know, beaten like that or anything, but they still lost. And we're going to kind of dive into exactly what happened during that game. So the where I want to start and kind of let Key kind of go from there. But I think when you're looking at the teams like the OKC Thunder and the Spurs, their bread and butter is that transition defense and offense. And this is in the words of Raw here, not to steal your thunder or anything, but he says all defensive teams are transition offensive teams, which is true. Right. The identity of the Spurs and the OKC Thunder has been their transition defense. And this has kind of been the name of the game, if you will, during that matchup. And I'll let Key continue from there, brother.
Yeah. I think OKC especially has always showcased that transition mentality, always getting back, always running lineups to make sure that is the focal point. I mean, we're looking at Caruso as small forward, Luke Dort small forward, Case and Wallace as small forward. The list goes on and on. So, and I think in OKC versus Spurs, we saw one lineup: Chet, Holmgren, Caruso, Dort, Shea, and Kaysen, I believe it was.
Yeah.
And they ran that for how many minutes? 4 or 5. long enough, you know. So I think for OKC to make that work showcases maybe the destination that they're going. The Spurs, on the other hand, as much as I love their transition, it's all Wemby. It's
Oh, for sure.
all Wemby.
Oh, for sure.
We were watching one lineup. What was it? It was and Penny, Keldon. Who else was that out there?
Oh man, that lineup was that. Okay, so listen. First quarter, I think, right? End of the first quarter, they had Harrison Barnes at center. Now, this is the most grotesque lineup I've ever heard. Harrison Barnes at center, Julian Champagny, Keldon Johnson. Then they had De'Aaron Fox and what's his name? Stephon. And I'm like, who's the big? And mind you, they didn't score at all during that point of time, like at all. Like they didn't get a single bucket, like not even a little bit. But one thing I noticed in this game, the offense and defense got drastically better with Wemby on the court. It was night and day. It was night and day. And in the words of Ra, which I'll let you talk here in a second, about their defensive plan against Wemby. What did you notice there? What did you notice in that defensive plan?
Bro, they're hacking, bro. They're throwing bodies at bro. It's just awful. Like, it was awful. And, you know, at this point, Wemby's just rising above and shooting over people. So it's like the amount of physicality, I guess the refs are allowing it. The league has to allow it. But they're just trying to push him off every single spot. They're pushing him off the free throw line. And it's just crazy.
I want to kind of talk about this comment from Lou Skunt. He said, I find it interesting that teams PPG has went up from 10 PPG to 20, or from 10 PPG from 20 years ago, but ratings are down 40%. Increasing offense obviously didn't bring in television viewership. I think the story is a little bit deeper than that, and I didn't want to dive into that when it comes to this particular game, because there's a lot of fouls. And I think the stoppage of games, and of course we watched this game together, and it was so many game breaks. Like, golly, that's number one. Number two, I think they were scoring more prior, and it kind of went down, and now it's a little bit up from maybe the 90s. But I feel like as far as viewership, just to kind of quickly talk about that, I think as far as viewership is concerned, even if you guys have been watching on Instagram, I'm not sure if you've seen this, Edric, but when Shea went up for a mid-range shot and he kicked his foot out so that he can get contact on the way down, so he can get now mind you, this was in the clutch, like, you know, I see why he did it.
Bro landed directly on his heels. He landed directly on his heels in front of his torso. Disgusting work.
Like, I'm talking about boys hitting the Mr. Crocker, like trying to make sure he gets contact. And I think that kind of style of play really can be, you know, off-putting to somebody trying to watch this, especially. Also, finding the way to watch the freaking NBA game. Another thing, you gotta have Prime. If you don't have Prime, good luck. You know, like, God. We're not going to talk about, for legal reasons, how we watch this game. But yeah. But anyways, yeah. So other than that, one thing that I want to let Key talk about, because you had a good point about this earlier, which is running that transition with the ball. Not Key, I'm sorry. Rashad, you said this earlier about the passing abilities from Stephon Castle versus De'Aaron Fox. Let you speak on that.
Yeah, man. Stephen, he's a great passer. He he can see they ran some actions. There was one action where he made a pass to a three over a screen. I really liked it. I think he hasn't put the playmaking together all the way because he's not as good of a dribbler yet. Like he's hanging his dribbles. He's floating a whole lot, so he's not really like a breakdown blow by guy. He's not getting past people. I think J-Dub stripped him pretty early in the game. And so we're not seeing like 6, 7, 8, 9 assists, but it's like every now and then we're getting one that looks really good.
And I think to your point, De'Aaron Fox has never traditionally been that 20 and 10 player. And even when he does have, and correct me if I'm wrong here, I'm not sure who Rita is. She looks pretty upset. Stop the call. I'm not sure what that means. But anyways, we're gonna keep it going. Bus stop keeps rolling. Anyways, as I mentioned before, De'Aaron Fox has never been that 20 and 10 guy. And don't get me wrong, like this Spurs team is a lot better than the teams he's been on in the Kings era of his playing career. But I still noticed that he's still not really dropping you that 12, that 13 assists a game. And I'm curious to see, why do you guys think he hasn't made that kind of a leap on this team so far?
I think part of that comes from his identity on the Kings.
Right.
It's just never really been what he was called on the court to do, and I think that it was evident in the kind of players that they brought around him, secondary ball handlers, people that could make that extra pass. I mean, at one point in time, we thought they would get Tyrese Halliburton next to him. So, it just kind of proves that he's just not going to become that guy to get more than 7 assists a game on an average.
Okay. My question becomes for you two, right? With this Spurs team, was this win a fluke? Is this sustainable? Like, what is y'all's mind when it comes to this particular game? Obviously, we saw it. It was a very close game. Of course, they took a little bit of the lead in that fourth quarter, but still, like, do you think this kind of play style is sustainable for one, an 82-game series, 82-game season, and two, of course, 4 playoff series?
Yes, I think they have a lot of room to grow still. So I do think it's very sustainable. We saw some plays that were kind of like, "What are you doing?" That game. So it's like there's still things to improve on. We saw like a lob that was never going to convert. We
I wish I could play that clip.
We saw a crazy limitless range 3 for no reason off the pass from Wemby. That was like later. Not necessarily the clutch, but definitely time to lock in. So like we see some things that are definitely still improvable, and I do think that they can maintain this.
For sure. What about you, Keith?
I think a lot of that comes from their ability to just outshoot the Thunder. A lot of teams don't get the opportunity to do that with the defensive presence that the Thunder provides. But we had showcasing from Fox where he shot 40% from 3. Devin Vassell shot 40% from 3. And no one on the Thunder could match that. We had Jalen Williams was the only person able to make 2 threes that night. Do I think it's sustainable for the rest of the season? I think the fact that they've been able to win so many games without Wemby is part of the evidence we're looking at here. As far as the playoff series, it just depends on the right matchup. I think some of the guys on the roster are ready. It's evident tonight or that night. Some of the guys, as we saw, were not at all.
Here's my thoughts, right? Of course, Spurs outshot the Thunder. Woo! Which is true. They did. Shout out Kilo Quote of the Year. But look, my thought process is, as far as the Spurs are concerned, I do think they can find tremendous value in that dedicated playmaker personally. Right? I don't really think that answer is answered. I think if you were to put it all in a mixing bowl, like if you were to put a dash of Fox in there, a dash of Castle, a dash of, what's his name, a dash of that new guy, I
Harper.
forget his name, Harper. You put that together, you got some Neapolitan ice cream. But I think they need a dedicated 10 assist a night guy to make this roster cohesive, because they got a bunch of people that have a lot of overlap in their playing style. Like, let's be 100% offensively. There's not a large difference offensively, in my opinion, from Devin Vassell and Keldon Johnson for one. And then you add Julian Champagny. You know what I mean? And then you have another flex for it in Harrison Barnes, right? And then you got three guards that are all ISO guards, that ISO differently, and only one of them is a really decent passer. The rest of the two are coming into their own on passing. By the other two, I mean Harper and Fox. I think Fox's passing style, he's not really used to having a roster like this. He's used to, no offense, he has a grenade guy usually on his roster, and that was in Kevin Huerter. And I've watched a lot of Fox ball, like Kevin Huerter or the Malik Monk role on this team, where he's like, oh, this is not working out. Bloop. He don't got that here. You know what I mean? So I think they could use a playmaker if they want to be a convincing contender. I still think they're in contention. I just don't think they're head and shoulders above any of the other options, in my opinion. I still think OKC can still give them a run for their money in a good playoff series. Because again, Casey Wallace wasn't even Casey Wallace. Isaiah Joe was not in this game at all. And I'm telling you now, if he was in this game, they lose.
Whose minutes does he take and perform over?
Objectively, Alex Caruso.
Okay.
Objectively, you're giving him less minutes, and because let's be real, some of those transition plays that we saw Caruso run this run, that's not happening. You don't have to do that if you have Isaiah Joe. You don't have to run those, right? You don't have to do those transition pull-ups with Jalen Williams. You don't have to do that. The offense runs differently in that scenario.
I can see that.
My question becomes, we know both teams have promising young talent in Thomas Sorber and Carter Bryant. How do they fit eventually into this?
That's a gosh darn good question. Suffering from success is difficult, brother.
Yeah.
I think long term, especially when you're in a league where everybody's like super freaking good, you're going to have to make a statement for yourself on what kind of player you are to establish the I would say the value of replacement for you, right? If consistently, and I call this the what's his name, the Gilbert Arenas effect, where you're so darn good they have to start you. But they don't really like no chill kill. Okay, he's been like this the entire time. However, he was so good and he was busting, their butts in practice, and he produces constantly that they're forced to play him. So in a situation like those two players, they're going to have to consistently do better than the other options to make it make sense. Kind of similar to Peyton Watson on the Nuggets. Realistically, he became a starter. So Zeke Najee's not starting. So situations like that where the coaching and the play style of the game is just simply objectively better with you playing. That's what my opinion is on those two.
What about you, Rob?
I paid attention to them earlier this year, but I would like to see how they're developing right now. Neither team needs non-shooters, and I think that's the biggest deal. I think that's even when you're talking about the Spurs and all their flex forwards, like it's fine if everybody can shoot. If everybody can shoot, run an action, leave it up to their coaches. You know, it is what it is. But Carter can definitely play some defense. Haven't seen a whole lot of Sorber lately, but this year I don't think it's happening. And the next two players maybe moving, free agency, trades. I think we may see a lot more of them.
I wanted to piggyback on one thing you said with the Spurs, which is we're going to talk about the flex four concept later. Oh, trust me. But I think the Spurs are actually doing this a little bit different. They're kind of going for like that combo guard, to be honest with you. Like Devin Vassell, you can put him at small forward. He was a starting point guard for them for like 2-3 seasons. But they just got so many guards that they're like, well, he's 6'5", small forward. Same thing with Keldon Johnson. Keldon Johnson was originally a guard, but he has forward like tendencies kind of similar to like a Josh Hart, but he's still 6'5". Same thing with Dylan Harper. He's a 6'5" guard. Same thing with De'Aaron Fox, another guard. Honestly, when you have Wemby locking down, literally, and I mentioned this earlier, like he locks down half of the court, like he's a defensive back, like locking down half of the outfield, like downfield. Like you don't really need as many guards, as many forwards putting their hands in the pot there, to be honest with you, because then you start to create a mucking up the floor there. Okay, what's going on with this?
Oh, I saw this. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well, you know what? Because let's talk about the trash talk, which is another thing that happened. In reference to that, right? Victor states, and I quote, he says, "I'm just glad to be a part of something that's growing to be so beautiful." He says some other stuff, pure and ethical basketball, insinuating all of this foul baiting and stuff like that is one, it's egregious. But he's talking this stuff, and Chet already, of course, with Lou Dort speaking on Chet's behalf. Chet, I don't really see him talking that much, but to Lou Dort's point, he already has a ring. He doesn't necessarily need the yes. Is this what is that? Bro, I thought that was you had to show him the kick out, bro. You got to show him that kick out. But yeah, to his point, he does have a ring. This NBA Cup, which I don't know if anyone actually cares about, no offense. It's not really the greatest accomplishment for Chet, but I think also there's a difference between Chet and Wemby, and I'll let y'all dive in on this one. But there's a difference between Chet and Wemby. There's levels to this, and Chet, he's great. He's just not Wemby. Like he's good, but like he's not Mr. Too Slippery. Like what we talking about? Like I'm sorry, he's not. He's not. She don't want a little puppy. She want a big dog. Yeah, I'm saying, I'm sorry, bro. He's bigger and better. Like it's not. We're not. I'm sorry. Like it's like Klay Thompson when he did. Dog, you were the third guy. Like, don't get me wrong, you were great, but like he talked smack to LeBron, and then we saw what happened. So like, I don't really.
Yeah, I did notice Chet doesn't say that much to Wemby. Chet doesn't.
No, he sure doesn't. Real quiet. Real quiet. But if you can find that video of Chet doing the foul, not Chet, of Shea doing that kick out, that would be awesome. But yeah, so that's my thoughts, and I kind of want to pass it off to you guys. is it more valuable to be in Chet's situation, or do you find more value being the Wimby of the team
Okay, bro.
and being on the route there?
Is it better to be Wemby or Chet? Like, okay, dude. Earlier you were talking about Spurs getting so many guards, and I wanted to say that they've run this prototype before. We've seen their guards full 48 minutes coming off the bench, Manu, like, so that's amazing. But also, I'm thinking that everybody who has a great big, everybody who wants to run their offense through their big in the playoffs is watching last year's Nuggets fall off, literally unable to get Jokic the ball in the post. Alex Caruso sitting on his leg, and ball just can't even get to him. And so from there, I'm thinking, like, why not have four guys on the court that can pass Wemby the ball?
And also, could traditionally guards who can shoot are great because that Braun offense that you garner so much attention and you can kick the ball out to a decent shooter. Great. Now, of course, in this particular game, not the best representation of that, but I still think, to your point, it's very valuable to have good people that can move the ball to him, that European style basketball, but also make the shot.
On the topic of the guys not being ready, Ra, you made a great point a while ago in the previous conversation. You said, quote me if I'm wrong, it's not about if Wembanyama will be ready this season. It's about how the other guys will stack up and compete. Are they ready for the limelight? Are they ready for the pressure? How do they fit in Wemby's system? And if I think back on it, do I want to be in Wemby's system or do I want to be a part of Shay's system?
Mm,
That's a good
mm,
question. Because Wimby's not traditionally like your facilitator type. Like, he can pass. Shay's supposed to. We've had long conversations about this. But I think in the situation of Shay, I think that system has a little bit more mobility comparatively to Wimby. Because they, in that system, they move the ball around a little bit more, in my opinion, comparatively. I think when you trap Wimby a lot, since he's so big, he doesn't have the same facilitation tools a guard has because he's not a guard. He has guard skills, but he's not a guard. So there's been games where when Shea isn't doing so hot, he does give you 12, 13 assists. So I think if you're a role player, it's probably from a production standpoint, you would want to be with Shea. But from a ease standpoint, it's probably very easy to play next to Victor because he garners more attention, in my opinion, than Shea does on the defense.
I think that I think that it's about what you're good at. Bad shooter. Well, I'm not gonna call them bad, but shooters that are struggling have still done well with Jay. At mid post, uh, like he's driving, but there's still a lot of room for cuts when you play with Shay. There's not as much room nearly when you play with Victor. If Victor is getting triple teamed and you're not making your shots, you're off the court, buddy. So if you can't shoot, you're not gonna see the light of day in Wimby's system. But if you can't play defense, you're not gonna see the light of day in Shay's system because Shay's not, man, the way the advanced stats are popping up Shay, it's insane. Like, the entire team is going crazy on the defense. Um, to the extent that his like defensive win shares are like twice as many as the actual DPOY candidates or something crazy. But the like that's just how I see it. That's how I see the difference in like what they're looking for. So it's just about what you're good at.
Absolutely. I want to hit this comment here from Shady. He says that in a direct quote from Danny Green on Wemby, he wants to be the face of the league, and he could be the face of the league when it's all said and done. That's the greatest big of all time. That's definitely a too early to tell statement. I think he can be. I think fan favorites right now for sure. After this is probably in the running would be Anthony Edwards because he has such an exuberant personality. I don't really want to. We're all respect,
Brother.
all respect to Jason Tatum. After that finals run, bro, like anything is possible. But after
What are you talking about?
that,
He's still 19.
he, after clip farming that hard.
Yeah.
So could Wemby go down as the best big of all time? Yes. Will he? Good question. And I guess we will run this back when he retires. But yeah, I think he could be. I don't know if he will be though. That's just too early. But I mean, you're not getting anything better than a 7'5" guy who has an 80 ball handle on 2K. So I don't honestly 85, but that's neither here nor there.
Brothers actually kind of like 99 everything. So
yeah, you don't remember what he did to Derek Lively?
Don't do that.
you know, in the words of, other system greats, Hezzy Pool, that's OD.
Hezzy Pool
that's
is
OD.
crazy. No. Running the break with a tween cross, Hezzy step back, 7'5" and 1, screaming on the ground. No, sir. But anyways, we're gonna take a quick promo break here, and we'll take a deep dive on Dyson Daniels and kind of that archetype, and kind of looking at the mind behind the ball here. So we're gonna take a quick promo break. We'll be right back. All right, that was our promo break. Now we're going to talk about kind of highlighting a player archetype and a specific player, kind of take a deeper dive into the perspective of individual play instead of just looking at an overarching team. And of course, we're going to, ever so often occasionally go through different kinds of archetypes. And today, we're going to talk about Dyson Daniels. Rock, go ahead and take the lead, brother. I want to hear your thoughts here. What's your mindset and understanding Dyson Daniels and this player type, brother?
Man, Dyson Daniels is a player that I love to watch. Just as a small introduction. I have a friend. Every now and then I play 2K with my friend. Not to say my friend's name, but me and my friend every now and then, man, we just pull up lockdown highlights on YouTube. Dyson Daniels, bag work, best defensive playmaker in the league. And we put that to work on the court, virtually, real life, because he's just tough. He's locked down. 6'7", 6'10" wingspan. Very, very, very light On the scale of DPOI's great defenders, he's just like 200 pounds, but it allows him to guard the point. It allows him to guard the greatest points in the league. Allows him to guard Shea, Cade, small guards, jumbo guards, whatever you're looking for. And I think that is an extremely valuable niche. He just came in second for DPOY, and he won Most Improved Player. And part of the reason that I wanted to talk about him is that even after all of that, even after he went crazy for the Hawks, even though Jalen Johnson was injured, even though he went crazy for the Hawks, he came back and he said, after he won Most Improved Player, he said, I really believe I could win this award twice because I've got so much more left in me. For me, it's going to be about taking that next step next year and setting new goals. I want to be an all-star in this league, and I want to be a championship player. We love defense-first players coming in with that work ethic. You know, he has a lot of work to do offensively to take that next step. Right now, his offense is below neutral. But with that being said, that just makes it even more possible for him to get that Most Improved Player award again, because the offensive jump that he's capable of making, he's been a great playmaker. As Trae Young has gotten injured, he's stepped into like a lead point guard position, averaging a good amount of assists, scoring some. He just had a pretty good scoring night. I think it was 27. So good stuff.
My question for the two of you is that oh yeah, buddy. Let's take a gander. And as this is playing, I'm curious from y'all's perspective. What do you think makes this archetype so effective, especially defensively?
His hands, his position. Oh, good.
You say that as he gets the most diabolical still. I just like literally the moment he got the nastiest still I've ever seen. His hands. Okay, for sure.
I watched a video once upon a time from Dyson Daniels talking about his timing. He kind of recognizes that every player plays with a certain rhythm, and I believe that was a quote from Jaylen Brown. And Dyson Daniels kind of adopts that and kind of makes sure you're uncomfortable. He knows he has the size on you. He knows if you have the size on him, how to disrupt you regardless. He knows how to play effective. He knows how to play behind you. We see it here first.
Like, as you're talking about that, that's literally his best attribute is if you see, especially in this particular play, mind you, Jalen Brunson got bag work. Like, this is not a scrub, right? He's used to pressure. But Dyson Daniels knows how to, in your words, make somebody feel extremely uncomfortable. And also he makes the correct pass very, very often. And of course, this is kind of a trait with, foreign ball in general, right? Especially, European ball. Honestly, I kind of want to dive into that idea here with Australian players. In general. This plays very similar to this. So does Joshua. He also makes the great passes as far as playmaking is concerned. Maybe not the best defender. And also, all three of those players really aren't the best offensive players. I want to know if you guys ever noticed that and have any thoughts on what I just mentioned there.
Absolutely. So there's this old interview he did, I think, with Pro Insight, or was like the name of something, I don't know. But he spoke on it himself. They were asking him what's the difference between playing with Australians and playing with Americans, and he said that he was used to like getting his teammates involved. There was a lot more passing in Australia, and when it came to playing with Americans, like it was just like go get your bucket. A lot more individual talent. And like it was kind of an adjustment. So I see that in like the way that he plays the game. He doesn't he's not a like super. He's not super aggressive, and you see that with like all of the Australians early on. Like it takes them some time to adjust, and their like team culture is a big portion of how they do that adjustment. You know, we've seen some good examples, some bad examples. Josh Giddey was struggling on the Thunder because he needed the ball in his hands to really just make use of his abilities. He wasn't
Man,
he wasn't as much an off-ball shooter at that time. Had some horrible performances, but it was just a system. And now he's going crazy. And Ben Simmons was going crazy. Team culture was not it. So situation didn't, he couldn't thrive as much before that adjustment period came through for him. But I think right now, especially because the Hawks are just really truly letting him run point and not forcing him to play like a play style that's not his. He gets a lot of buckets, push shot, floater, right around the rim. He's tall. He's tall and playing point. So he usually has like a 3-inch height differential on his matchup, plus long arms for a guard. So it's all coming through for that.
I'm curious to kind of hear y'all because, especially on this thing I'm about to say, with this particular archetype, it's so different, right? You're not getting this out of every player for sure, right? You're not finding this on your local USC team. However, my question becomes, is this style of play being utilized to a heavy degree sustainable for championship success? Because that's the overarching, goal of the game, right? We're trying to win a chip. Because if you think about it, and we can kind of talk about who's similar in this archetype, and you mentioned Ben Simmons. Yeah, you mentioned Ben Simmons, and with Ben Simmons, I personally, he almost did it.
Yeah.
Like 2019, he almost did it. Yeah, he was one bounce away. And of course, y'all can, make your own decisions. But let's be real. If Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid faces that Warriors team, they're winning. However, outside of Ben Simmons, have y'all seen this archetype really find that level of success in a championship setting?
If I had to say honestly, and me and Ra have talked about this a bit in the past, if we take the archetype itself and kind of strip it of its specifics, so the floater, the guard playability, the flex forwardness, you just take it bare bones as is, and a defensive playmaker, you can you could take this as far back as the 90s. You could take it as far back as the 80s in some instances. Scottie Pippen comes to mind off the rip. Draymond Green in most recent times. I think the versatility of a defensive playmaker is what showcases his prowess, and why when it's adopted in a new system, it's always it's always amazing to watch, honestly.
I got a hot take, fellas. I'm gonna shoot this one from half court. I got a hot take. I think this role is better supplementary. I personally don't see this particular archetype. If this person is the best person on your team, it's like the Jeremy Lin effect. It's like, and I love Trae Young. I love Ice Trae. I don't think Trae Young should be the best player on your team. I don't think Dyson Daniels should be either, or Scottie Pippen, or Draymond Green either. Because if you run into these situations, right, this archetype can very, very easily become an issue because of the offensive lack of consistency, in my opinion. Well, I'll let y'all talk on that one. I'm just curious. I personally myself don't know if this is sustainable for most situations with this archetype.
I would say when you're talking about a one-way archetype, when you're talking about somebody who can only play defense or only play offense, at the extreme lack of the other side of basketball, then of course, yeah, that's not championship caliber on the regular. Even when you're talking about, some people will say like, oh, Jokic doesn't play defense. We see all the different kind of stats that can, disrupt that argument. We also can watch the games. Rebounding is so vital. But when we're talking about Dyson Daniels right now, like he's 22. So is he the best player on a championship team right now? Of course not. But we're looking at five plus assists already. We're looking at insane plus rebounding at the guard spot, already averaging 6 or more. We're looking at mismatch ability. He's got great footwork in the post. He's been developing it more. We can see the way that you can run the plays through him, running the play, just inside of the free throw line. He's a great facilitator from there. I've seen that a whole lot from him because if you don't step up, he does the push shot. He's great coming off the dribble handoffs. Is he the best? Not yet. Not yet. He hasn't developed a shot. We've yet to see what's going to come from it. So I say that archetype isn't him. And for sure, Scottie Pippen can be the best on a championship team. Why? The Celtics just won. So you're either about to tell me that Scottie Pippen can be the best, or either Jason Tatum or Jaylen Brown is better.
Of course, right? And to my point to that, and some old heads might get mad at me for this one. I think Jason Tatum's just a better offensive player than Scottie Pippen, and I don't really think. I'm sorry. I think his bag is deeper. I think his Jason Tatum's bag is deeper. I'm sorry, bro. You seen Jason Tatum? I just think his bag is deeper.
Holy.
And then you saw what happened with No Jordan on the team. Did he make it to the finals?
He won 50 games.
Holy.
Yeah. Hey, the Hawks won 50 games with team time.
Wow.
I don't know.
Shady.
I don't know, because I'll tell you right now.
Okay.
I don't know if Scottie Pippen could. I say with a better constructed team, sure. I think Scottie Pippen does have that. He has that Kawhi Leonard feel to him, of course. I think, of course, he's better all time than Kawhi, but Kawhi has been the best guy on a championship team. Though, if that Warriors team was healthy, he ain't winning the god. That's neither here nor there. But
multiple teams are not healthy every year.
No Steph.
Multiple
no
teams are not healthy every year.
I agree, but no Steph, no KD.
If we're going to turn injuries off, only the MVP should win chip.
My statement is you beat Green Lantern without the ring on. Like,
let's not pretend like that 76ers team wasn't stacked.
No, it was. It was. I'm not gonna lie. JJ Reddick was on it.
Jimmy Butler.
I know. I was kidding. Tobias Harris over me? Yeah, I know. But still, y'all gotta put some respect on Pascal, though. You know what I mean? Like, Pascal. Yeah.
I love Pascal. I mean, he did his thing in the finals. Shout out to that man. But let's talk about Serge Ibaka, Marc Gasol, the guys that did the work.
Did you say Marc Gasol?
Man, what are we talking about?
Marc Gasol was Medicare age at that point. Anyways, the point I get into is I think this position is better suited supplementary personally, but I can see you making the Kawhi Leonard argument. I can see you making the Scottie Pippen argument. And of course, in a situation of Dyson Daniels, which becomes the question, one, with his current trajectory, he does have crazy upside, amazing upside. I just don't know offensively if you were to give like Sean Livingston 30 shots a game, would he win you a chip? No disrespect.
I think with all respect not taken, I think the biggest upside to this archetype is if you're gonna make it to the finals, you need someone to guard arguably, possibly even in a lot of circumstances, the best player on the planet.
Sure.
We saw that in 2014 when Kawhi had to guard LeBron.
Sure.
And that was a large reason why they won.
I agree.
Again, Draymond Green, who was his assignment?
LeBron.
Time just tells the truth.
He held LeBron to a 30-point triple-double, man.
Hey, I mean, it's better than a 45-point triple-double. I don't know.
Yeah, it's true. LeBron still led his entire team in, his points and blocks and steals.
But who won though?
Exactly.
But who won though?
Yeah, thank you.
Oh, that's true. I think having that defensive player, but again, there are those situations, and of course, you can argue that Kawhi was the best on that first.
Okay. I'm not saying Dyson Daniels is winning MVP and carrying bums to a chip. I'm not saying that. Okay, I'm just saying he's a DPOY caliber player.
Oh, for sure.
They can run the point. Okay, and it makes team building so much easier when you have people that can play extremely versatile. Anyway,
I agree. I think Dyson Daniels, I feel like if you threw him on the current Lakers, for example, they could use a Dyson Daniels. I think any championship caliber, you could throw Dyson Daniels on the Nuggets right now. Cedric be happy.
Throwing flowers out.
they might win.
like golly. But I agree. I think any contending team could objectively use a Dyson Daniels style player. And I think, and to your point, which is, yes, he is DPOY relevant, and I think he's underrated for sure.
Yeah.
I think he's underrated for sure. But long term, where do you guys see Dyson Daniels' trajectory in your mind as far as the players is concerned?
Well, I'll let you take the floor.
Last year, he shot 34% from three. Was that indicative of his total ability to shoot? I don't know. But he played 76 games, and that was his percentage. Free throws. He shot 59% from the free throw line. So, what that says to me is he has a lot of work to do shooting. His ability to give you 12, 14, 15 points on the regular without that shooting is showing me that he's actually very able to get to that bucket. And if you are just talking about his inside game, it's already very, very, very efficient. He came out and said after this offseason, he came out and said that the past few off seasons he hadn't been able to work on his game as much in the off season because Olympics, stuff like that. He just had so many prior obligations, prior commitments, but that he got into working on his midi this off season, and I think now midi over 3-point shot, that's a take. I'm gonna leave it to the shooting coaches, but I think that it could develop over time, and at that height, if you can shoot the midi, you're shooting over guards. So I think that he can definitely become a 20-point scorer. Honestly, I can definitely see 27-7 in the next few years, and still maintain that DPOY caliber defense. I can definitely see that.
And I'm gonna keep talking a second here, but and to your point, this is his time to really show us this, right? Trae Young has been absent. He's been absent since October 29th. So this is the time. Of course, obviously, we're not Bill Nye the Science Guy to see that the defense has gotten better, without the one of the worst defenders in the league. I think it's between him and godly Jamal Murray. But with no Trey Young, this is kind of his opportunity to kind of show us and display, what does Dyson Daniels really look like. And I'll let Keith talk. You look like you had a point there.
I think the playability of Dyson Daniels really fringes not even just on Dyson Daniels, but what everyone else around him decides to do. I mean, we have Jalen Johnson, a prolific playmaker. He can also get you about 7 assists on an average. Trey Young, if he comes back healthy, we know he can get us 7 to 11 assists on an average. So it really just depends on who decides to play off ball. And in my opinion, if you're going to be arguably one of the best shooters in the league, Trey Young, you should be off ball. That's just my opinion, but I'll leave that to the shooters.
That is one thing I also agree with. Like he could be running around some screens too. Like, man, like 6 foot slipping around screens, tough to keep up with. But also, like, I want to say on Yeka, like great playmaker as well. And I think I've seen quite a bit of him passing to Dyson Daniels, leading to his assist.
Yeah. That's fair. I'm gonna end the conversation topic with this. With the current trajectory of Dyson Daniels, is he a NBA All-Star caliber player, or is it too early to tell? Let me know what you guys think. You guys think he's All-Star caliber or no?
This year?
Mm-hmm.
Bro, he's a negative on offense, gang.
I meant to say his trajectory, not right now, gang. My bad. Okay. His trajectory. Do you think Dyson Daniels has an All-Star in his future? Do you think he can make a good case for himself trajectory-wise? Or was it too early to tell? And I'll leave you guys with that. I don't know. I don't know where I feel on that one. I'll leave the comments for you guys to see if you feel like Dyson Daniels is based off what you learned today. Do you think he could be an All-Star, or do we think all of us are tripping?
I'm saying yes.
You're saying yes, Key? You saying yes?
I think so.
I'm a hate. No, I'm kidding. I think so also, but I'll let you guys in the comments, make your predictions on what you think about Dirty D, Dyson Daniels. And we're going to take a quick promo break. We're going to do our last segment of the day. We're going to take a deep dive, a team spotlight into one of the teams in the NBA. We're going to do this every single episode of this podcast. We're going to choose a team. We're going to take a dive into it, and we'll go from there after the break.
Eagles fan. Join my man Cool McCain and a host of others as they break down every single game, every single week in an objective manner, and also from a fan's perspective as well. Remember, this cast feels just like you. Nobody likes you. And you don't care. Fly, Eagles, fly. Eagles Elite Podcast, every Wednesday at 8:30 p.m. Eastern on YouTube and other podcast outlets.
All right, Eagle fans and many others, welcome back. We are going to do a deep dive on the number 1 seed in the East right now. They are 21-5. There's no team like them or better besides the Thunder. The Pistons. And I want to start with JB Bickerstaff. He originally came into the NBA as an assistant coach to his father, Bickerstaff, for the Charlotte Bobcats back in 2005.
Ugh.
Right.
Good God.
And then he came in to the Timberwolves in 2007 as the assistant head coach to Kevin McHale. He assisted in the development of Kevin Love, helping him win Rookie of the Year and Most Improved in his third year. But finally, we got to see Bickerstaff as a head coach in the Grizzlies in 2016 with a record of 55 and 109 in his tenure.
That's the best Grizzlies roster we've ever had, too. Golly!
Yeah, he was there with the young prospects like rookie Dylan Brooks, rookie Jaren Jackson. They did not get Ja Morant yet. So keep that in mind. But we did see a winning record finally at his assistant coach position for the Cleveland Cavaliers. He helped them win 165 games in his tenure. Very impressive. But finally, he is where he is today at the Pistons with a record currently of 44.
Oh.
44 and 38 last year and 21 and 5 this year.
Here's the thing, and I'll let y'all talk, right? This Pistons team was so bad. Oh my God. Now, I don't know if y'all remember this season before this, and now of course I'll let y'all chime in, but they had the longest poo-poo streak in NBA history, the longest losing streak ever. JB comes there, Superman pose with sitting there with the Captain Morgan knee up, and it's been a different team since then. They even made the playoffs last season, and honestly, that was a really, really decent series. That was one of the better series of last year. If you thought they didn't last year, we had no lack of interesting series, is my opinion. But I think the Pistons have been killing it with this coaching. But I'll turn that back over to you and let you continue that one. I just wanted to chime in.
No, I completely agree with you. I think head coach Monty Williams was part of the reason for that losing streak. 28 games. That's a lot of games. I think it started October 30th, if I'm not mistaken, on a random Monday in 2023. Way to start the new month, right? Do you remember some of the people on that roster?
Yeah, it's about the losing streak roster.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely, for sure. So yeah. It was for sure Cade Cunningham. Right. And poor Cade, of course he was helping me in my parlays, but man, parlay killer, man. He was doing awesome. You just bet the over, because if they had a chance in that game, Cade was dropping 30. But so it was Cade, it was Jalen Duren, it was Beef Stew. If I'm not mistaken, was Malik Beasley still there or no?
No.
So no Malik Beasley. However, there was Asar Thompson.
Yeah.
Because was that not the year that he started off very hot with all those rebounds and blocks?
Defense.
And then he got injured and he came back a whole different dude. And I was like, what happened? Also bet the under on 2.5 assists for him, please.
Always.
And they had a bunch of other guys. It was Marcus? Jaden Ivey. I think he was injured also that season too, right?
Let me open the trash bag for you. We have Shake Milton.
Shake Milton!
Yeah, we got Kevin Knox.
Oh, good Knox! Fortnite suits. Continue.
Fortnite. We got Killian Hayes.
Killian
Hayes, yes, sir. We got to get a veteran presence in here. Do you remember Taj Gibson?
Robinson?
Yes,
That was
sir.
foul.
Minutes,
That
bro.
was foul.
Yes, bro. Yes, bro.
Tom,
Getting
that's my
relative
dad's
minutes,
age, bro.
bro. Also to back up Duran was Marvin Bagley. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Can we get that cricket sound one more time? For the people in the back, just curious. Yeah, thank you. Yikes.
But I believe my point is clear. But one thing that is notable to that losing streak that they had, Cade Cunningham did go down with an injury that season for 20 games.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I think honestly, we can't put it all on Monty Williams. We can't put it all on Cade Cunningham. I think the biggest outlier is the culmination of the worst kind of talent possible put together on one team, but it led to results that got them Ron Holland. You can't be mad at Asar Thompson. It was his rookie year.
Right.
But I think if we want to talk about today's Pistons, boy, have they turned it around. And I think most notably their defense. If you didn't know, they're the second best defense in the league, bolstering a 100
Defense.
defensive net rating. And quoting Raw earlier, every defensive team is great in transition, and this Pistons team is no different. Just a lot of flex forwards that can really just move the ball around. And though they don't shoot well compared to league average, they're middle of the pack, about 17th. They are hosting a lot of snipers. We have Duncan Robinson, who's shooting 40% from the three this season on 7 attempts. Tobias Harris, he's shooting 35% from three on 5 attempts. We have Isaiah Stewart, Stu, shooting 40% from three off the bench.
Ew.
Can't be mad at that.
I'm not. But God.
And I think that's what helps Cade Cunningham average the amount of assists that he's averaging. Currently, he's averaging about 9.2 assists. Unfortunately, he's also averaging 3.7 turnovers. And that's not appealing. And I think it does come with its grievances. But overall, we can't really put it completely on Cade. Even though they do have the shooters that I did mention previously, they still don't have the spacing possible to get the passes at the quality that we like to see out of Cade.
I think another thing that is going really well with this team, and they have historically been better, and I mentioned this in previous conversations. Their pick and roll offense has been helping them tremendously in the half court. Obviously, yes, they got a bunch of like flex forwards, like a bunch of them. Ron Holland, flex forwards. Beef Stew, he's special center, but he's like 6'9". He's really a forward. Same thing with the Asar Thompson, also a forward. Tobias Harris, a forward. It's crazy. Is Duncan Robinson? He's also a forward. So they got a bunch of forwards. They're like a bunch of 6'6" and up guys. And when you're running that pick and roll offense, you really have a bunch of really solid options. Because, of course, if the pick and roll doesn't work with Cade's quick first step, Cade can really punish you off that screen, man. Like, he really can. So usually in situations with the Pistons, right, you get that pick and roll on an offense on half court setting, right? Let's say it's Jalen Duren. Bam, you hit Jalen Duren. That's a beefy guy. Boom, Cade Cunningham's moving towards the rim at this point. He can either pull up for a midi and his midi's tight, or he can take it to the basket. And if he takes it to the basket and your center's out of the play, you're going to have to help. There's no surprise that Cade's averaging 8+, 9+ assists, because boom, all he has to do is kick it out to help guys man. And we got a bunch of people who can shoot. Sorry, Sir Thompson. We got a bunch of guys that can shoot. Like, this really has a decent recipe for some success. Now, for me, is teams that have also a bunch of flex forward or faster guys. I don't know if that's going to be necessarily feasible in a 48-minute game. Like with Wembanyama, I don't really think there's a such thing of Wembanyama really being out of the play. But in situations like that, I feel like it's really team and matchup dependent, and that's where this coaching from Bickerstaff kind of really shines through, right? He's really good at trying to set up his guys in the best case scenarios, even when it's not it's not as advantageous for them. You'd seen that in on the Grit and Grind, 2016 freaking Memphis roster, right? That team had no business being that good. Not at all. What? Like, what? Oh, but again, right? Especially with who was on that roster, and that's kind of where good coaching kind of takes a leap here, as well as personnel. If that makes sense to you guys.
Absolutely. And I think the biggest part as to why that shines is the pick and roll between Cade and JD. Fun fact: Jalen Duren finishes his rim attempts at 72% when it comes from an assist from Cade Cunningham.
So tough.
They're one of the best pick and roll targets in the game.
Holy moving screen. Holy moving screen.
Yeah, he definitely fits a lot of those.
But again, right? Like you see that they have some of the best pick and roll offense in the entire league. But yeah, you're to your point.
And Rod, what do you think about the development of Jalen Duren?
Oh man, I love Jalen Duren. I have another friend, play 2K with him every now and then. Me and him got into a little bit of a debate a while ago. I'm a big Zach Edey guy. He's a big Jalen Duren guy. I'm thinking, Yao Ming, contact dunking Wemby, what's not to love? And he's thinking, Dwight Howard archetype, what's not to love? And, Jalen Duren, he broke out this season before Zach Edey did. So I almost had to eat my words. But Jalen Duren is, manifesting the shot now. He's coming out. He's able to stretch the floor a lot more than he was. It seems like he's bulked up. He's grabbing so many boards. He's super mobile. He's just totally frightening. And for me, I'm looking at the way he's setting those screens for Cade. It's just working so well. He's such a strong screen setter. I think it's been like a little bit underrated on just how totally successful he is with, filling the lane in that he's jumping right on time, like in that alley you just showed. Like that's perfect jump, perfect throw, chemistry. Like it's just total package right now. I'm loving it.
I think from a perspective of Jalen Duren, right? Obviously, and I've been watching the Pistons for quite some time. Okay, like I'm still sad about Fontecchio not being there. If you guys know, you know. But with Jalen Duren, obviously the Pistons have needed a big man to rise up for quite some time. Right? They've needed they need a glass cleaner, right? They need a defensive presence. And don't get me wrong, I love beef stew, and with Fontecchio, it's more like big stroganoff, but nonetheless, I love beef stew, but I think, and to your point with Jalen Duren, is he's rised up to be the center they need next to Cade, right? And what's convenient and nice for this Pistons roster is that center is the kind of center that Jalen Duren is. He is that guy that's very athletic, that very bulky, that Dwight Howard archetype kind of guy, right? That will slam that thing, that will get you a double-double every game, that will clean up the roster. Of course, not clean up the roster, will clean up the boards. My only critique for Jalen Duren is I wish he blocked or protected the rim a little bit better. I think that's probably an area of improvement for him. I don't see any reason why he can't give you 2.5 a game personally. Like if Miles Turner can do it, you can do it, dude. Like, come on. But also like with his athleticism, it just pairs very well because he is exactly where he needs to be on time, and that's what you don't get as much with Beef Stew. He's a little bit slower of foot. However, he makes up with that because he can shoot. Jalen Duren, for the love of God, you don't want him at the line, past the yard. My goodness, but maybe at some point, hopefully, fingers crossed. However, nonetheless, I digress. But where he lacks in shooting, he does everything else. Great help defender, with the exception of that argument between him and Asura Thompson. If you know, you know. Great help defender. Just an athletic guy there where you need him to be. And I think that portion of his game, of him getting into spots, I think is really what evolved more than anything else. It's just like his ball awareness. And as we mentioned, as Rod said before, there are some players that just do not have that feel for the game. They just are out there lost. Okay. Like I'm sorry. And I no disrespect to this player, right? Sometimes as a Lakers fan, bro, ain't be out there lost, bro. Like, I'm like, bro, like Chris Smoot, give that man a map. He needs a GPS sometimes on some of these plays, bro. I'm like, bro, are you good? Like, sometimes it feels like with a player like Aiden, he's watching the game like we're watching the game. But you don't really see that with Jalen Duren as much at all. Like Jalen Duren's locked in, and I think that a level of assertiveness is really making the impact and allowing his offensive abilities that's already there. And he was working out with Rasheed Wallace over the off season, and I'm sure that helped tremendously for sure. But just having that feel and allowing your talent and your skill that you've built up to this point to kind of shine more, I think that's kind of where the leap is coming from, in my opinion, as a viewer.
Okay, so I don't wanna bag on any players, but I think Luka Aiden is such a fitting comp comparison, just like in study, to Cade Jalen Duren. And I think I forget if it was a post game. I think it was a post game interview, maybe a month ago or something. It was a little while ago this season. But DeAndre Aiden said, sometimes when I set the screen for the guys, I forget that they want me to roll, and I go space the floor to the midi. And that really made me think about what you just said, because of course they want you to roll, but but yeah, it's just sometimes the guys, they don't know what the other people are looking for from them. When you were talking about Jalen Duren's rim protection, I think that may be a little bit more, everybody has to get on the same page. But part of Jalen Duren's mobility, he's playing the center, but I really think that he's capable of playing that power forward, Jaren Jackson, Evan Mobley defense.
Yeah.
And a lot of the times when a player that is 6'10", 6'11" steps out more and does that, the rim protection may be like more subtle, and it ends with less blocks, even if it's effective.
Sure.
Yeah, that's all. But no, I definitely agree.
Jalen Duren's to the Lakers, bro. Sorry. I'm trying to get Bron that fifth chip.
I don't know if the Pistons will let him go.
Now, fun fact, the Lakers did try to trade for him last season while they were trying to get what's his name from the Houston for the Hornets.
Mark Williams.
Mark Williams.
Yeah. After they drafted Dalton and traumatized him.
Yeah, they did. And also local news, not to get too crazy off topic, but local news, I did hear murmurs that Luka did meet with the front office trying to find out what GA is talking about. But so I think what's his name? Dalton might be gone for good.
7-man total roster?
Yeah, honestly, 6-man. It could be 7. Honestly, shoot, at this point, they're not gonna have no cap space. They pay me $100K. I sit on the bench. I fight LA right now. I'll post up. Yeah, they'll take me to a chip. I'll be like Jeff Teague on the Bucks. But anyways, back to Jalen Duren though. He just has that really good feel for the game, the really good archetype, and I think he has the tools if he continues to progress, continues to add that presence on offense. I don't necessarily think he needs a shot. However, I think of obviously being able to shoot the 3 is great, but you don't need it. Like Rudy Gobert has been awful from shooting the 3, like genuinely terrible. And man still has a job, so
It's true.
I think for those super mobile centers, it's less effective for them to shoot the 3 because they're so capable on the O boards. But when you have like those taller 7'1", 7'2" guys that are a little bit slower, you want them like KP because they're not giving you that O board, so they might as well be on the 3-point line.
Yeah, Rudy Gobert is super mobile, bro. Like, man, that's like the most mobile center. Man, that's really Rudy Gobert. Man,
All
shout
that
out to
space he's
him.
covering, man. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, man, 7-time DPOY Rudy Gobert, bro.
He deserves
Like,
them all.
honestly, best French basketball player of all time, to be honest.
Holy glaze. What is the most notable development you've seen out of Jalen Duren this season so far?
Consistency. Not gonna lie, I'm gonna be quick with this one. Consistency. As a recovering betaholic, I had to hit Jordan from freaking TikTok, pull my glasses off, throw it. This man has single-handedly sold my parlays. Now, of course, is it my fault for betting on him? Absolutely. That's on me. Absolutely. Oh my god, bro. Yo, that's crazy. Quoting me on that's wild. But yeah, has he sold my plays? Absolutely. But is 8.5 rebounds realistic for a big man? Yes. And he's gotten a lot more consistent with that this year. He's got a lot more consistent on getting boards, got a lot more consistent on getting points. That consistency has literally been key to their success. They're not winning half of these games if Jalen Duren doesn't show up, and he does consistently every single night. And that's why, and that's the thing I've noticed the most out of anything Phil, regardless. He has just worked on let me do what I need to do night in, night out, every game. So, and honestly, I think he really deserves kudos for doing that because that's a bit of a.
What do you think, Rob?
There was one beautiful, beautiful play that I loved to see, where Jalen Duren's bringing the ball up half court, coming into that midi, size up, hash.
Yeah.
No way we would have saw that last year.
No
way we would have saw that last year.
No.
Last year, bro was rocking like, man, 50 midi. Okay. So it's good to see, he's not just a dunker. We're not asking him to step out and shoot, but if he's feeling it, he's feeling it. I'm letting him shoot a little bit.
What about you, Key? What did you notice?
I think most notably the short roll. Everything that he can do in that short range is just it's a big improvement from what we've seen in previous years. I've seen him shoot post fadeaways. I've seen him turn to a turnaround jumper. Everything in the face up that he's brought this season, including that step back. It's really a sight to see, and it really is what makes that pick and roll so dangerous this season.
Okay. I have a question for you, for everyone here. We've talked about Cade. We talked about Jalen Duren. Let's talk about Sir Thompson. Okay, let's talk about Sir Thompson.
Defense.
Obviously, right? Amin has been producing more.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and unfortunately, with him being a twin, he's always going to be compared to his bro. Sucks, but it's going to happen. My question is, how do you guys feel about his production and his trajectory so far on the Pistons?
I think personally, the stats don't tell the full story for what a star can bring to the table. Like Rod's been mentioning, defense. Everything that he brings is it's something that you can't measure with any statistic. It's with 12 points a night. I mean, it's 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 like I want to be excited at it, but it's like it with he's only attempting less than 1 3 a game, 0.7 to be exact. He's only making 0.3 of those 0.7 threes a game. So it's all coming from cuts. It's all coming from being some part of that pick and roll concoction that they're cooking up over there. And at 12 points per game as an off-ball player, that's amazing. When your point guard is averaging 9 assists, it's like, how impressive is that?
Yeah. I would agree that he's not creating as much offensively, and I think that while I do think that defense first players are extremely valuable, you have to have one aspect to the game on offense. Shooting, finishing, playmaking. Our number one success story on defense first player in this era is Draymond Green, and that's the playmaking. Now, you can say that playmaking is a tad bit overrated. Passing the ball to Steph and Clay should be easy, but it's playmaking. 6 assists is 6 assists. Wow.
Yo, that's
Wow.
foul, bro. That is so. That is
Wow.
unbelievably foul.
Holy. Some people just live. They walk through their day with hate in their heart, man. Some people just walk around with hate in their heart.
Yo, shout out the bus driver, bro, with the graphics, bro. Oh, but continue your point, man.
Man, if you're a listener, somebody just came. We saw a comment in a thread about Asar Thompson, and it was, he is truly one of the worst players in the league, and that's just not true. There's just, not that I need to name any names, but
there are names. There are names.
there are many names to come before Asar Thompson. So I think that they need to be focused on him getting at least one aspect of the offense together. 30% from 3. I'm not mad at it. I'm not mad at it. I'm not mad at
names. Name them names. I'm sorry.
I'm about to name 200 small forwards. No.
Oh, that's crazy. Yeah, we're gonna continue. Rob, you keep going. You keep going, Rob. We're gonna slide on by.
But yeah, for both of the Thompson twins, I always want to see. I really, really want to see. We look at them in the transition. We look at them when they get to their full speed, and we're noting like, this is one of the best movers. These are two of the best movers in the league. These are two of the fastest guys. Super. I can't even say it's twitchy, but like they get in the air. It's so fast. It's so fast. I want to see them take people off the dribble. I want to see it regularly. Even if it just has to be dribble handoffs to get the full steam, like even if they're not ready to break down the defense, I just want to see it like go yam on somebody. Both 40-inch plus vertical, like just go dunk that thing. And let Jalen Duren grab the O board.
I agree to a degree. I think you can't look at Asura Thompson's counting stats and be like, that's who he is. He does a lot of contests, right? He does a lot of help defense, right? He adds a lot of pressure. He's part of the reason why the transition defense is as good as it is. Right now, as a guy not taking a crazy amount of threes, 1 for 7 field goal percentage, and can't shoot free throws is not hot. But he's phenomenal defensively, though. Asar Thompson is not a guy you're a small forward's going to really coast to 40 points on. Like, he's going to guard your best ball handler, bro. And of course, if it's a big, it's going to go to Jalen Duren. So every night, his assignment is going to be the Luka Doncic's. You know what I mean? His assignments are going to be the Shea Gilgeous-Alexanders, the Devin Bookers, the Jason Tatums. You know what I mean? So and Jaylen Brown. You know what I mean? So with that being stated, you are getting your full value from him as being a game slower, not a game pusher, in my opinion. But I say all of this to say, I think with Asura Thompson being on the team, being as one-sided of the ball heavy, as mentioned by Rob before, that's not ideal. Having someone that's only good at one side of the ball, with the exception of Jokic. Like, Jokic is killing. But I think this is all a testament to Cade Cunningham, which was going to be the last of the three we're going to talk about here. Cade's been crazy. I'm just going to call it a spade a spade. He's been going crazy. 9 assists with this roster is wild work. Wild work. 9 assists. Marcus Sasser and Asura Thompson and Ron Holland and Jalen Duren. Don't get me wrong, Jalen Duren's great. He ain't 25 and 10 great. 9 assists with this roster?
He is 25 and 10 great.
He could be. He doesn't do you. He's not going to give you 25 and 10 a night, though.
No, that's yeah. He's not 25.
He's going there. He's
on his way
yet.
That's true.
I mean? So like, not bad.
Not bad at all.
That's IQ. That's having hoop philosophy. Sorry. Anyways, yeah, he does have that IQ to make this work, and I kind of want to pass it on to you guys, and Rob. What do you guys think about Cade's play?
Personally, I think it's nothing short of amazing. I remember we had a conversation about Cade when you were trying to get me on the hype train a couple years ago, Reem, and how he was, at the time, one of the most effective mid-range shooters. It was a crazy advanced statistic of like 62% from the effective field midi. I don't remember exactly. Maybe it was 2024. Maybe it was last year. But I say that to say that it's all come together. He stepped up on the threes. He stepped up on his finishes. One of the things I'm always seeing in his highlights right now is his reverse finishes. And I think that's really just a testament to the amount of practice that he can get against amazing defenders. I do think they have a few steps before they can reach that contention. But I do think that they can hold this first seed for the rest of the year.
Yeah, I think he's a player that's going to get MVP votes. I think he's at that level. I think he's an all NBA player. and he is. So one of the things that I used to say was, all great winning teams need to have a mind. Like they have to have somebody who's the guy when it comes to scheming on the court, when it comes to understanding what's about to happen next. And the more that I see that, especially that one play, well, not especially, but it was highlighted in this play that was pretty recent. I feel like everybody's seen it, where he goes full court. He gets one screen to take a man off him, but it's like a spin and a move, and he goes through 4 defenders for the lay. And it's just like the level that he's understanding the game at has like drastically risen, in my opinion, even from last year. Like he's just so much more comfortable. His moves, like he's just used to it now. If I'm looking at like what I'm expecting the defense to do to him, I'm not thinking anymore. Like when he gets past people, I'm not ever thinking like, oh, it's bad D. Like I'm just like, that's overly tough. Like how did you even think of that? Like that's just a tough move, and it's consistent now. So
I wanna pass this question off to you guys. Like I'm gonna leave my answer for last on this one. Do you think the Detroit Pistons would be good if they were in the Western Conference?
Ooh. I mean, that we're talking about being better than what? So we off the rip, they're not going to be better than the Lakers. They're not going to be better than the Nuggets. They're not going to be better than obviously the Thunder. They're not even close to that. And I say that they're starting to sit comfortably between the Rockets. I can't say they're as close to the Spurs, but the rest of the Spurs roster just kind of feels it. Yeah, it makes you make one of those faces. So I think they can sit somewhere between the 6th and the 9th seed. That's how competitive the West gets.
What you think, Rob?
So, are you saying that the Lakers are better than the Spurs?
Yes.
They are currently with a better record than the Spurs, if I'm not mistaken.
I'm standing 10 toes.
The Lakers are beating.
I'm not even a Nuggets fan. I got this crap on.
Okay, and the Nuggets are better than the Spurs too.
Yes.
Right. Okay. I'm not mad. I'm not mad.
Welcome back to Bus Driver Show.
Absolutely, though.
Nah, yeah. They might be Rockets level. They're definitely not top 4. I don't think they can maintain it. They're still dealing with injuries every now and then as well. I just don't think they can maintain that in the West.
Okay, my thoughts. I disagree. I just wanted to let that one breathe for a second. I disagree. I want to let that breathe. Here's what I mean. The Pistons have been extremely freaking healthy, man. They've been healthy. And I think a healthy Pistons team is probably doing some decent numbers in the West. I think there will be the biggest, you're like the Grizzlies, right? And I like the Grizzlies. Don't get me wrong. I like the Jaw. So I like the Grizzlies, but they've never really been like we really thought they were winning the chip. And it's because they've just had the best cohesion as far as like players and personnel. And the only real players that's kind of been iffy on the Grizzlies health-wise has just been Ja, occasionally Jaren. And now with recent history, the Zach Edey situation, but
Bro, the whole team is always out for the Grizzlies. Bro, they regularly make new 10 days. They have 10 days. They have at least 20.
Whoa, hold on. I'm talking about the 2021 to 2023 Grizzlies, where they were the 2 seed.
Okay.
Where Ja was like, I'm fine in the West.
Yeah.
Those years, they didn't face a lot of injuries.
Yeah, it wasn't bad.
And that's the reason why they were the 2 seed in the first place. It's because they weren't injured. Like, that was the one year, like, Ja knew how to land correctly. Both about to fry me up. I was like, I think the healthy Pistons would do well. I think they would probably have they'll have a couple more losses. I would say they'll be in between the Lakers and the Nuggets. Unfortunately, the bus drivers Nuggets are above the Lakers currently. Detroit is 5-0 against the West so far. Yeah, to my point. But I still think that's because he's only played the West 5 times.
Right.
That's why. I wonder who the 5 is. If it's the Jazz, I don't know why you said that. But anyways, my point is I think they'll be in between the Nuggets and the Lakers. I don't like the Nuggets are higher than Lakers. I'm not wearing this because I like this team. I don't like this team. But I still think they'll probably be, I'll say firmly 3. Only strictly because they're healthy. I don't think they'll be better. They'll just have a better record, in my opinion. If they were to keep the same health.
I don't think they're as comparable to the 2nd seed Grizzlies, primarily because that Grizzlies team was prolific in the shooting department at the time.
Fair.
It was just a way more balanced roster, like a more filled out roster.
And then we got to the playoffs and Brooks.
We're not going to talk about it.
Okay.
Anyways, yeah.
Oh,
I've got this.
Green Giant.
LeBron,
but
I've got this.
honestly, let's. If I had to ask you guys one question about these Pistons teams, are they legitimate contenders or are they pretenders? What do we think?
I think it's still New York.
Wow.
I think it's I don't like the New Yorkers, but I still think it's New York because the New York be running they be running these salmon chopped cheese lineups sometimes. Like, what are we doing, bro? What a Josh Hart at the 2? Like, what are we doing? Like, anyways, I still think
Would you rather have him at the 2 or the 4?
I'd still rather have him at the 2. But I think it's just 6 now. To answer my question, to Project Patal, I think they're kind of contenders. Kind of. I don't think they're gonna win. I think they're gonna be like the Pacers. They're gonna get there. I don't think they're gonna. If they get there, they're not winning it. Like, I don't want to be a hater, but I just don't think they're gonna beat any of the top 4 teams in the playoffs. Like, if LeBron sees beef stew again, he's going to be a beef patty by the time he's done. Whoa, that sounds tough. Never mind. Nonetheless, I think they're contenders in the sense of, will they get out of the East? Could they? Yes. Will they win the chip after that? Jazz hands up.
I think they are. I don't think they're contenders. I think that they are good. I think that they are up and coming. I think they are missing the depth. I just think that they are missing the depth. The real contenders have, 10 playable guys at this point. And it's just too much. The game planning is just too possible to game plan for Cade and Jalen Duren and Ivy. like who else is creating? Who else is giving you 20? Like beef stew. What do? You stand there, put a hand up, and that's the defense for the day. Like Sar Thompson, you sit paint. That's the defense for the day. Like it's not. I think they're too game planable. I think they don't have the depth, and I think that like the maturity is not fully there yet. As players, I think Cade has the maturity. I think Cade has the maturity. But like it's so pressurizing. Like that's the best of the best. Those are the bright lights, and the lights can be too bright. So
I want to list off some stats to you guys and see if they change your mind. This season, Jalen Duren is averaging 18 points, 11 rebounds, and 1 block. Not there. All right. Let's talk about a star.
I think Cat is averaging 12 boards.
He is. Second most in the league, right after Jokic. What about Asar Thompson averaging 12 points, 6 rebounds, and 3 assists?
Tight.
Still not hot.
Tight.
So we got Duncan Robinson averaging 12 points, 3 rebounds, and 2 assists.
Tight.
Who?
Duncan. So then we also have Tobias Harris averaging 14 points, 5 rebounds, and 2 assists.
Tobias Harris over me?
Yes, sir.
Buddy.
Tobias Harris, he did say that Philly fans would trade him for a crumble cookie.
These are not phenomenal numbers.
Depending on the week, I think all of us would.
Continue, Key. Continue with these stats, bro. I'm listening.
All right, my last one is Stu giving you a whopping 10 points, 6 rebounds, and 2 blocks off the bench.
Junior Whopper?
Yeah.
Points distribution. Double digits.
Hey, a lot of teams can't say that.
Gang. Okay.
Listen, I bring up these stats not to talk down on them. I honestly do think that they can be contenders. Personally, I do agree with you, Reem. I don't think they'll make it far in the East. And I think the biggest staple is whenever I think about the East, I have to ask myself, can the number 1 seed get past the Miami Heat? This season, the answer is no.
Here's what I think about that. No, the Jimmy Butler list Miami Heat?
Yes.
Have y'all seen that meme of Anthony Mackie where he's like,
Yes.
That's what I'm looking at you guys like right now.
You guys.
Norman Powell.
Yeah.
Jaime Jaquez.
Built to bottom.
Not Nikola Jokic. Nikola Jovic.
Yes, sir.
It's Jover.
Honestly, man, you got some faith. I want to. I wish I had that much faith.
30-point Bam.
You're a believer
for the series.
30-point Bam.
Do I think that they have the better talent overall when we talk about matchup versus matchup? No, but do I think that they have the deeper roster for a 7-game series and they have the grit and grind mentality? Absolutely.
Sure, because here's the thing, right? I'm not gonna forget that Eric Spoelstra made Caleb Williams look like he was prime MJ against the Celtics. Okay. So you give him Norman Powell, who's dropping 20 on the Clippers a game and making NBA fantasy rosters look insane all last year, sure. But I don't know about that one. But if they did beat the Pistons in a 7-game series, that's because the Pistons lost. That Miami Heat team is going to take advantage of you only if you're not really about it like that. And without Jimmy Butler there testing their gangster, I don't know if they can continuously do that. So, but nonetheless, I get your point, and I personally think if they do make it out the East, they're not going to win, so it won't matter either way.
Philosopher Reem. What do you think, Rob?
I think that they have.
Yes, sir.
I think that they just need a few more pieces. I think that the people that we're happy to see there can win there. I think that the people that are being talked about, the people that are running the offense, being large parts of the offense, I don't have any doubt that they can be on a winning offense. I just don't think that everybody's ready and the roster is deep enough. And I just don't think that entire team is on the same page and just totally ready. Like that's just it. Yeah. They have one perimeter defender and one semi-rim protector. I'm a defense guy. I don't love that. That's just it.
I feel you. So I'll put it like this as our final statements, man. With OKC and the Spurs as we restarted, I think the Spurs got a good a trajectory for where we're going. I still think OKC are low-key frauds. Dyson Daniels is a wonderful archetype. I still think it's secondary, primarily. And of course, the Pistons, are they pretenders or contenders? It looks like they got outvoted into the pretender realm-ish. But it looks like we're just going to have to watch and see how that goes. But that's all we got for you guys, and we're happy to have this segment and have you guys follow along.
Heck yeah, great show, guys. Yeah, guys, everybody out there watching, don't forget to hit that like button. Head over to Shady Sports Network on YouTube. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Like, I'm still trying to get to 10,000 subscribers by the end of the NFL season, so we got a ways to go. So tell your friends to tell their friends to share it for us and subscribe. Yeah, Reem, Ra, Kilo, thank you guys so much. I look forward to more of this talk. Hopefully, continue this going forward, and all of you guys out there, you can come join us hopefully Tuesday nights to talk some more NBA as we get into the thick of the season, wrapping up the NFL season. If nothing else, thank you guys, and everyone, I hope you have a great night. Enjoy the rest of your week.
Thanks for having us.
I'm a game changer. I'm a game changer. I'm a game changer. I'm a game changer. I'm a game changer.